I thought FaZe was going to take over because it's supposed to be me, but I stepped down, so somebody's going to have to come up here.
Did you also step down from facilitators or just the directorship?
I stepped down
Wasn't
initially as
sure.
an officer, and just the officer. I said I can stay on multi-sig signing, but I was told that's grifting, so I stepped down from multi-sig signing. I said I would gladly step down from facilitator
I
role.
mean, yeah, one guy said it's grifting. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
make
I'm
it
just
grifting.
tired of this shit, man. I've been dealing with
I
this
know.
is a subsegment of the DAO that's attacked me before. And I'm not a grifter. If you can provide it like any evidence of me stealing money from the DAO, please do. And it's just I stepped down because I had worries. I've left all the receipts in the DAO discussion. Everybody's gone quiet. There's so many accusations that I blocked hardcore. I just shared in the facilitators chat our conversation where I helped hardcore go through KYC to be an officer. So to tell me I blocked him is fucking crazy. And I'm trying not to get angry here, but what's happened
Yeah.
in the DAO is kind of ridiculous. And I'm not going to rage quit. I'm not going to do any of that. But someone reached out to me and told me that Ditchy might have credibility issues. This happened months ago. I didn't take it anywhere because I don't know if it's true or not. But part of that was that he would insert himself and try to potentially have businesses hired on that are really him in disguise. So I don't know the veracity of that information. When he messaged us to have this transfer over, which I have a recording on the DAO call from 3 months ago showing I said that I want nothing to do with this process and how the process we should go through is uh, make an annual budget, then outline what these roles should be doing, have an election for these roles, and then if I want to be in it, I can opt in depending on what is the responsibilities. So there's just a lot of slander being thrown around, and I'm using that term. I'm not using it in a legal way. I'm just saying I'm being bashed. Uh, I understand people's frustrations, but to attack me in China is ridiculous, and I'm not going to stand there and allow it. And I know I said some mean things, but if you read those conversations, I was professional until I was called a grifter and a snake and a piece of shit. And then I told somebody that they should not take it out on me because they have bad investing experience here. And that's not fair because I don't fucking have control of their wallets. So, like I said, I'm willing to stay on and sign. There's literally 1 month, I think, left in the term. So, if me and Choina quit right now, you're down to 7 of 9 and there's uncertainty. So I have no problem signing and you don't even need to pay me. I just don't want to take money from this DAO anymore because I provided my experience and whatever roles I've played in. I feel like I fulfilled what's been asked of me, and it's unfair. I've gone above and beyond, and to be called a grifter is just
Yeah.
unacceptable.
I mean, you
I
pretty
don't care
much
if you
like
call me a piece of shit, but
you were
don't call me.
instrumental in like literally saving the DAO from being written off by Cayman.
Yeah, about
I didn't
7
see
months
anyone
ago,
giving
right?
you credit about that. I was like,
Yeah.
you're the one out there. I mean, you tried to contact them, it didn't work. And then I mean, you tried all the angles and were the one that made us aware that was even happening.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I
we
just
we,
want
we
to move
snuck in with
forward.
about a week. We were just for
Yeah.
more context there. We were like days away from missing deadlines. So yeah,
Yeah, and I don't
that's
want to make this meeting about like some sob story bullshit. That's not like what the reality is that the role we're in, we've reached a point where we were being asked to make a big discretionary move. If we choose, we don't know because we even had Alex from Dalbox drop in all this information, and there are some questions that still remain. We don't know what the legal responsibilities or liabilities for these officers are. And I'm not saying this because I want a paycheck, it's because I don't want this risk. I don't want to say this, but fucking our names and information is on documents and it's out in public. I don't like that. That's not fair. I didn't sign up to have that level of, doxing for a role that I'm just supposed to be a multi-sig signer. I don't care about the money. Just please take me off the documents. I got to a point where if I choose a lawyer for the DAO, we are making discretionary decisions. I have not done that yet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid that. So I've had my hand forced because there's miscommunication happening. Ditchy came to us 14 days ago and gave out the plan, Choina clearly said, I don't feel comfortable. I don't understand any of this. I put the 100 emoji under it. And then Ditchy came back, told us that we can just both quit and make him the interim director. Then 5 days later, he amended that and said, update, Dalbox said we can't do that. So he's trying to give us legal advice that was counter to what we were getting from other people, which is fucking scary. And then I messaged Choina and I said, look, I don't want to do this, but I got a message from a trusted Gotchi member about this person. And then Choina confirmed that he got the same message. So we were like, we should probably confer with Maxi. And we just didn't have enough time to do that between when it happened and when Ditchy came into the Discord saying we've been ignoring him for 2 weeks. His last message after we said basically we don't want to move forward with this and bring it to the DAO happened 3 days prior to him coming into the DAO. I have screenshots of all of this, so it's not like I'm making shit up. So to jump into the DAO and make it like we were derelicting our responsibilities that we don't even have is crazy. When we have a screenshot of us saying, Ditchy, put all of this information publicly into the DAO so we can open it up as a forum. He wanted us to be in a direct communication with DAObox and I guess Ape Law, and I got Choina. I think we were originally going to do a TG, but we ended up doing it in Discord. I got their usernames for him. He put us in a group. I never responded to anything because I've decided that I'm not going to make decisions for the DAO and put myself at legal risk. No one here isn't a lawyer, and everybody can call me stupid, but I'm not an idiot that's going to let people give me legal advice when there's clear signs that it might not be in my best interest. So that's where we are. I quit because I think it's the smartest move because it forces and triggers an election. You have no choice. You have to go through your democratic process as a DAO instead of depending on other people. All you have to do is set up an election. It'll take 2 months, and then you can move forward with the new people in these roles that have very, clear frameworks of what they're supposed to do. And then as part of those roles, they can onboard our legal counsel. And then from there, we can decide on the governance structure. So I'm just not going to make a decision. And I think I did what was best in the best interest of the DAO by stepping down.
All right, well said. I'm okay with that. I mean, everybody can opt in and opt out, right? So what you describe, it makes a lot of sense. At the same time, just to add an asterisk, I don't know Ditchy personally, but I think I am listening to everything and just assuming everybody's working in good faith, and maybe there's a sliding scale there, but I'm not gonna accuse anyone of anything. I
Yeah, I'm
think
not accusing anybody of anything.
Ditchy's
I'm
not
just
here today. I'm not sure why, but you can't make every Saturday. But
I'm not accusing
yeah,
anybody of anything. I'm just telling, like,
yeah,
I as a officer, I have a fiduciary duty that I don't want to protect the
right.
DAO. If a credibility issue comes up, I've researched this before I made any comments to make sure. This is protected speech to be able to bring forth an accusation against someone who is potentially inserting themselves into positions of power within the DAO. So
But
this is
yeah,
not an accusation. It's just me bringing forth information that was brought to me as a director.
right, right. Yeah, I think that's fair. And then the main point is like regardless of like Ditchy's intentions or motivations, it doesn't really matter. The bigger picture here is regardless of that, you don't want to have your name on certain documents, and it's more than you signed up for initially. And the DAO, I think this is the part I really agree with, is we had that issue with the DAO almost, missing Cayman Islands clear dates 8 months ago. It was a long time ago. And from that point is like the start of the conversation about how to reorganize and make sure everyone's uh, right on paper and everything. And we're still here talking the same conversation every Saturday, and it actually saps the DAO hour was more intended to talk about game development and moving things along on the marketing side or whatever. That's what made it exciting to me. But lately, it's just every week it's the same, like calls with the lawyers, and nothing moves anywhere. No decisions are made. So it also affects, I think, the content of what this hour is supposed to be, but it's got to get done. I just feel like it's definitely stuck. If no future, you don't want to be involved with it. I think that's fair. Like time is kind of up on it. Called a snap election, and let's reboot to some extent. I mean, I don't see any way to force your hand if you're like, hey, that's enough. So I don't know. That's what I hear and how I process what I'm listening to. We got
Yeah.
Faze on stage. Faze,
But I
welcome.
guess just as a final point, election, like we don't need people from the community to be the nominee the directors anymore. We can just use. There's 3 services so far that we've talked about: DAObox, Ape Law, and Latouche. I think Latouche is, and they come out as like the cheapest for just if you just need a nominee director. I think they came out at like 3,000 USD a year. I just saw DAObox's proposal, which was like 75,000 a year plus an undisclosed amount of ghosts that we need to negotiate with them. I don't know who's going to be negotiating on behalf of the DAO with them. Doesn't seem like anyone's really in that position to do that. So, but the DAO Foundation does need directors. I'm not sure they can. If Latouche is the corp, when they go to update the docs in Cayman, you can't just say, "Oh, we don't have any directors anymore." There's got to be something in place.
Yeah, you need at least
switch out.
You need at least 1 or 2 officers, if I'm not mistaken. I dropped the screenshots of what Tim told us back in, I want to say June or even before that. It's a
June sounds right.
statutory role.
Yeah. June sounds right. And that's what I mean with the going in circles. It's literally, to me, this is so easy. It's who's willing to be a director and what's the compensation to justify taking on that quote unquote risk or playing that responsibility. If
Or
it's
just
$1,000 a
clarity,
month, can we get 2 people to sign up? If it's 500 a month, can we get 2 people to sign up? There's got to be a market rate for this type of role, and we have the bodies and plenty of people from all over the world. Somebody must be willing to do it, but we just have not been able to pin down clear compensation and clear responsibilities. It shouldn't be so hard, but here we are.
Yeah, I agree with Goobs, though. We should probably move on from this because it's not fair to have this discussion without Ditchy here to defend himself. I also messaged the person who made the credibility accusation and requested they come on. They have not responded.
Yeah, and I agree to the extent that we're talking about Ditchy, but I think most of my interests are just about, guys, let's pick a direction and like just define the role. Every role has responsibilities and compensation. Define it and then see who out there among us is willing to fill that role.
But I mean, my point is, do we need someone from the community to be the nominee director? I mean, most foundations, you don't really have, like a lot of the Cayman entities just have a nominee director. They don't have actual officers.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's a local nominee. Maybe we could just, is that enough? Because that could be outsourced.
I think that's what Latouche was suggesting. Like, you guys don't actually need. I'll confirm again with Tim, but I think that's what he was saying. And they gave their rate.
I dropped in the DAO discussion. He kind of went the opposite direction with us. He said that we're supposed to have statutory roles. He said Latouche can't fill those, but they can fill the nominee supervisor. So we've been told on the call, those 2 roles are the ones that are like, they have the fiduciary duty. They represent the business on paper. So that's why there's liability risk there for those 2 roles, because they're down on paper as like not necessarily owner, but I remember for the first CorpSec, they had me listed as the founder of the Aavegotchi DAO, which is crazy. Like,
okay, so they can be. I asked the nominee director. He said yes, but maybe he was referring to the supervisor, not the actual officers.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It seems like DAObox has a structure that can work for us if we go with. I think we have our own nominee supervisor. There's just questions about their fee structure because they are asking for. I think a ghost payout as well. VR Dev asked them a question, but they didn't really answer. And then there's a section of their spiel that I highlighted that doesn't. It seems unclear if our current foundation is actually protecting the directors, because it mentions the fiduciary duties that the directors, and when I say directors, I mean officers, me and Choina, that we have to the DAO. So I asked if that means, like, in our current situation, does our foundation provide legal protection? If it does, we don't really need to change anything except who the directors are, because we're not doing
Mhm.
activities in the real world that could put us at risk. If we plan on expanding beyond that, then there's a bunch of like legal arrangements that we can set up, which DAO boxes, they've alluded to. Ape Law we've been told that they can provide. We just need the specifics at this point. So there are options, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, I don't even know why I'm talking anymore. This is not my thing.
Test. Can you guys hear me? Could
Yep.
you hear me before? Oh, you can? Okay, cool.
No.
I was talking
No.
before and I was like, wait,
Oh.
that thing usually happens where I got to reconnect. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, what you guys are saying is totally on point. Like, I agree with Jesse. I mean, it's been going around in circles, but it's like Foreign is saying here, like it's a very unique situation, and it was like from week to week, it still felt like we were just trying to figure it out. In fairness to No Future, like with everything that happened this week, like he has been saying from the beginning, like as soon as it was made clear that his name was on these documents, he was like, I want off, like that was very, very public. It was repeated a bunch of times. I think where some of the confusion happened was when we started talking a little bit more about it, and Ditchy proposed. That's how we made the distinction between the directors and the ledger monkeys. Around that time, there was kind of an idea that maybe like from my understanding was that maybe No Future and China were going to stay on if they were compensated, but then that really never got figured out either. So it was kind of just all in limbo, and I think everyone knew that there's still something that needs to be done, but like it wasn't happening because like no numbers were proposed after that. I remember there was a big compensation number that was like suggested by Ditchy at first, and No Future even said that's kind of high, but there was no alternatives really discussed after that. And I don't think anyone.
No one took it seriously, and it was this was like 2 months ago, to pay the officers, if it is similar to like what the treasurer is, to pay what the treasurer is being paid. So that's an extra 3K goes per quarter, which at current price is whatever, like $1,000. Like that was we did mention that was the last thing said in a forum. I can find it and show it. I also have the fucking recording from 3 months ago queued up to me saying we need to pass the annual budget, then decide on what this role is going to do, host an election to elect 2 people into this role, and then have those people go into. I literally found it in our DAO call from 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So there's recordings of me very specifically saying that I'm not saying I need to stay in this role, pay me 100K. I said set up the parameters of this role. If I want in, I'll opt into an election. That's a completely different thing than demanding to be, or slow starting the role so that I can keep up. There's no pay in this role. What am I grifting? There's nothing. I've been doing this for months, just fucking moving in circles for no reason.
Yeah, we need to get out of this loop and get something going that is gonna just move the DAO and the foundation forward, because it has been extremely taxing on everyone. Like no one wants to sit here and talk about DAO Foundation stuff over and over every week.
Yeah. Do you think the next step is to get Ape Law on the call? Like the last we heard was that I guess Stitchy wants the facilitators to reach out to them to schedule that call that was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Pixelcraft, like we can do it, but did he, as part of his engagement to be the bounty hunter, like did he provide any written proposal from them? Like where
I don't
can
think so.
I don't remember seeing him like post the thing from Ape Law in the similar way that DAObox just posted what they can do and their whole compensation plan. Like where he was supposed to contact 3 different parties, come back and give us the specifics about their kind of how they want to handle this. I don't.
he created what he called I think he might have Foundation Legal Task Force, and in that task force, it's me, Choina, Maxi Crouton, and there's a fourth person, I guess I don't know who it is, but he basically dropped Telegram links to the people within, I guess, Ape Law, and then Choina put forth his like concerns about being part of this process. Then he advised us to potentially step down and name him the interim director. And then he followed up with information that you guys saw in from Ape DAO, from the DAO box that we saw in the DAO listed yesterday. So for Ape Law, once again, I have recordings of this. I asked if we can have them on. Everybody's telling me that it's going to be a waste of time and money because I'm going to ask all these questions about risk. So I don't understand why I'm being blocked from seeking the legal counsel that we might hire to ask questions. But I've laid it out 3 simple questions. Is the current foundation that we have a viable legal wrapper for the DAO with its current endeavors? The way the actions that we take as a DAO, which is mostly on chain, does this provide adequate protection? Because if it does, then we even need to change the structure other than just changing the 2 people who don't want to be in those roles? If we are not protected, then what are our options that we can go forward with you as a service? And then what does that cost? It's just 3 questions. But I've been being told that it's a waste of money and that we shouldn't do this. I don't understand why we pay for a legal counsel if we can't get evidence from them in an organized and structured way.
Yeah. So you posted those questions, but no answer from.
I posted them in the
I think
DAO.
he posted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bookmarked them kind of in the event that we actually get somebody from Ape Law on to answer Cody Dan's message. I thought that's what was going to happen. Like last we heard from Ditchy was that I guess he had a private consultation with them, and this is what I remember. I think it was like 2 calls ago where he said, we would eventually get her on a call, the same person that he talked to. So I asked about it the other day, and yeah, but I think you guys saw it where he kind of suggested that the facilitators reach out to try to schedule that call, and then we could present everything to the DAO all at once, and have them make their decision, knowing the differences between all these third-party services and like how much they're charging and what exactly their services like pertain.
I don't get why he can just get the lady from Ape Law to come and present to the DAO.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go through it was literally his job to go out and be the bounty hunter and get them to come to a call. I mean, I think DAObox guy came to a call, right? A couple month or 2 ago.
And we only just now got the figures of what it's going to cost from DAObox.
Yeah, we should put those way up front because that's insane. 75,000, 6,000 a month. That's
plus one. I think we'd have to provide like 70,000 ghosts if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. What are you doing every month for $6,000? Like,
but I mean, that's the cost of legal protection.
Yeah.
I feel like Ape Law is probably going to be more expensive. Just looking at their website and the partners that they have, like they have Alluvium and Animoca brands are kind of their clients.
Yeah.
I honestly think DAObox could be a good solution depending on what we want to do as a DAO. If we plan on expanding and because what they suggest is creating committees, and I think that's a good idea, but I think historically the DAO doesn't want that. So we're adding overhead for stuff that potentially we don't need. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. I think the DAO needs to look at its structure. As I was dropping evidence of why I wasn't fucking over hardcore, I was able to show the organizational chart that Foreign created, and then I showed it to Tim Rabble, aka Johnson from Lotusha, and he's like, "Yeah, this is a good structure." So there is definitely a need for us to have some sort of structure, but it really depends on what the will of the DAO is. In the last couple months, the DAO almost, we were approached by a VC to be bought out. There's a lot of uncertainty on what's happening. There are now discussions for treasury distribution. So we have to figure out kind of where we're going. I mean, personally, I think we should split into 2 separate DAOs. The DAO that wants to, wants their money back and they're tired of being part of this experiment, and the one that wants to continue on and see what we can do. Because I don't want to be in this civil war of people who are down bad and are angry, so they'll tank the project because instead of trying to help it grow. It doesn't help, and I'm saying that as a community member.
Oh, I mean, it's super demoralizing for everyone. Just like we have we're pretty open about like letting people criticize the project, but it's not really fun when obviously uh, things haven't gone as well as we thought they could. But I mean, Jesse and I are still here. We're still working hard on this project every day. Like, can't say that about many other projects in the space. So there's still plenty of, as I said in the message in general chat, there's still plenty of wind left in the sails for this project, and I think there's still a potential for kind of a eighth inning comeback. I don't know. I don't know a lot of baseball metaphors. Sorry, I don't know if that's appropriate. Is it ninth inning, 10th inning?
It's October, so yeah, you gotta have your baseball references ready. The one thing about No Futuristic, what you said there is interesting. Is like what my mind goes to. What would that even look like? And it reminds me of like some DAOs are structured where there's sub DAOs. So like that sub DAO has its vision and its responsibilities or things it can fund. So I don't know. Maybe it's what would two different DAOs look like to you? What do you mean when you say that?
This is not my suggestion. This was other people in this DAO distribution. I like cursory view overview of it, like looking the consideration of winding down the DAO and distributing the funds. Some people have like advocated for splitting the DAO potentially into. I think they use the term liquidator DAO and then whatever other DAO. So one DAO would be basically to distribute the rewards to holders. The other DAO, I don't know if it would have any treasury or not, but like basically would carry on trying to build out the Aavegotchi DAO. Like it's moving on. It continues to exist beyond just the treasury distribution that the other DAO will do. Like this is not my subject though, so I barely looked at it because in the middle of reading that I was fighting with people, so my attention was split.
Yeah.
Honestly,
No,
I guess what I wouldn't want is if the DAO like does a treasury distribution to people, and those people are still coming back like every day complaining that how down bad they are. That's doesn't really fix the issue. That I can see that happening. Like people just like to hang around in discords and continually what.
Did we lose Dan?
Might have just timed out.
So if people were like rewarded by taking a cut of the treasury, they're still going to come into the chat every day and cause trouble. Like that's the worst outcome, I think.
Yeah, I urge everyone to go and actually read the chat. Like I said, I didn't read fully the chat.
Yeah, I read it. I was hoping some more some of the more opinionated people or like vocal people in that thread would be here so that we could actually discuss it, because like I'm not gonna kind of speak for them. I mean, I'm sure anyone who's interested or on this call right now has probably looked through it at least and seen some of the I guess the options that they're putting forward. But yeah, man, like that's what these calls are supposed to be about. You know what I mean? Like we can, sure, there's a lot of text, but sometimes people are playing catch up, and it's a lot to read through. So if we could just hash some of the more important stuff out on a voice call, I think we'd get a lot more done.
True.
But no future. Just while we're on the topic, man, like what? I don't mean to like put you on the spot or anything, but why do you not want to be part of facilitators anymore? Like, is that something that just you're just kind of feeling right now because you're?
No,
I think you're perfect for the job, man. I think everybody agrees with that too. Like, and I don't think it has anything to do with anything that was said in that exchange. Like,
it did though, because I'm being told that I am a serial grifter, that all I do is extract from the DAO from the various roles I play for the DAO. Going to live events, that's me grifting. Me being a facilitator, that was a grift. Me being a DAO director, that's a grift. I basically have never, although I've never put out a prop at all, I've started funding discussions and backed away from every single one when I felt like anybody thought was trying to tell me that my idea was bad or not worth it. I just stopped pursuing it. So to be called a grifter in that moment, it just makes more sense to just step away from all these roles because I'm not a grifter. Like to be called a grifter is so disrespectful. And
Yeah.
I've been here for so long, and that doesn't mean shit, but I feel like I've proven at least that, you don't have to like me for my personality, but I'm not a grifter. So I can make money in many other ways, and I am currently, so I don't need this. And I've been doing this for so long, and if it feels like people in this DAO don't value my contributions, I'm fine with that. I'm willing to step back and just be a community member and not be paid for the DAO. The DAO can find other people to talk or represent them on these kind of spaces. I think I'm skilled at this. I've been doing it for years, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm a moron and I have little dick energy and I'm evil and trying to I've been told hardcore had a whole fucking thing about how evil I was for trying to be on social media spreading information about Gotchi. There's a cohort of people in this DAO who think that, and that's not good. Where any kind of attention towards bringing new participants in is a bad idea. So it's just reached a point where it's like, it's okay. I still love you all and I could stay here and still be part of the conversation. I'm not changing my PFP. I haven't dumped any of my assets, but I just, if my value isn't seen, I don't want to participate anymore because I'm tired. Like there's so many other opportunities in Web3 and we're in a bull market. Jesse, me and you had a conversation in the depth of the bear and you told me you thought I could get grants for a lot of money for the content and the work I do because I'm consistent, but we were just in a bear. We're in a bull now. These opportunities are here. So it doesn't make sense for me to be continuously disrespected for when I'm doing what I promised to do. It's just not fair.
Right. Well, I see you very active. You definitely got the hustle and make hay when the sun shines, right? So you have what, so many different shows you're hosting every day. Your schedule's filled up. I get it, man. You're very busy, and power to you. You're doing well, and we always love when you contribute to Aavegotchi. And I think the way it works with these DAOs is like, and just online communities in general is like you're not going to get a lot of credit or pats on the back when things are going well, but you do hear things when people disagree or things aren't going well. So I don't know. You can't have thin skin, and I know you don't have thin skin, but this whole grifter stuff, I think anybody that knows you, we don't even give it any energy because it's silly. It doesn't make sense. So I totally get where you're coming from. You're like, I got better things to do than deal with high school drama or name calling, and it is, all of that is true. But I would also just caution, it's like it's just a handful of voices, and I think that the silent majority is definitely glad you're here and hope you continue to play a role that you're comfortable in. All that said, this whole thing about the the risks and not wanting to have your name attached to the DAO Foundation, that's kind of a separate thing, and I think that definitely has
Yeah.
to be taken care of.
Yeah, my thing was more about specifically the facilitator role. Like I reminded you in the chat, and because I felt it. Like when people are arguing, you feel like there's tension there, and then there's like, like you're feeling a certain way, the other guy's feeling a certain way. So I wanted to step in to just remind you that that's not even close to a majority. Like you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't think of stepping down from facilitators because of a couple of comments that were made. Like what counts is that we were originally supposed to be four, our fourth left. When it was time for us to renew, you stepped up for the role. And then I think that prop passed by like 95% in favor of adding No Future to the facilitators. Like it's a no-brainer, you know what I mean? So if that vote represents the DAO kind of like consensus, you're good, man. Like you shouldn't be affected by if one person or a couple people or I don't know, however many it is, because that doesn't reflect in the actual vote at all, you know. And like you could see the chat right now. Like I think you're great at what you do. I think you're a great facilitator, and I think people agree with that. So, like, yeah, disagreements happen, and sometimes people have just different opinions, which is whatever. Like it's always going to be the case.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, man.
appreciate the
Like-
kind of word. I do. I'm just a show don't tell. I'm gonna show you I'm not a grifter by walking away. Because if you think I am, then I have no place here. And what you guys are saying, I'm gonna take this into consideration. All right, I'm listening. Like I've talked to Mr. Seb. I've kind of told him I'm like going to quit, but we are in the middle of planning out events. So he told me to kind of have this conversation with everybody today and kind of figure it out. But yeah, it's there's no point if I'm gonna be, this is old too. Like the same arguments that were that I was hit with, I was hit with in 2022 when I called out Bearded in the Gotchi Vault. I'm a drifter. I'm toxic. All I do is extract. That shit. I've stayed here for 2-3 years and proven that shit through my actions. So for someone to say that I'm a grifter after like I have shown that I am not. So it just for me, I take that very personally. I don't know. You could have insulted my mother and I wouldn't have cared as much.
Yeah. Look,
Also,
just to
yeah, I ever hugged too.
yeah, I get that it's fresh and stuff, man. But like, can we just give it like a week, at least till next week, just see how you feel? You know what I mean? And then
Sure.
if you
Let's
still
move
want
on,
to
'cause
step down, just go ahead and make it official so that everybody knows.
we
Cool.
can do that. Let's move on because VR Dev is right. Like this is
Yeah.
we go for 14 minutes.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that in there before we moved on to the next thing, which yeah. But like, give it a week, man. See how you feel. You know, maybe focus a little bit more on like the positive feedback that you're getting right now. And then you can go look at the actual DAO the last vote for the re-election for the facilitators, and you'll see what it is. But yeah, it's totally up to you, obviously, and I think people are gonna respect your decision either way. Cool. All right. So we do have an update that was in the agenda channel from FIFU. He wanted to be here today, but he couldn't be. I guess he has some updates that he's sharing on his work. I'll drop a link to that. And yeah, speaking of VR Dev, we actually also have a snapshot proposal up by him this week for the first time in a while to modify ETH cell ladder. It's currently at 1.4 out of 7.2 million quorum. Yeah, it was put up August 16th, so 2 days ago, and it ends on the 30th. So there's you guys got some time to vote on that. I'll drop a link to that as well. VR Dev, Cryptogotchi, aka VR Dev, for anyone who didn't know. Do you want to talk about it at all, or are we good? Go vote so we don't hold it all the way down again.
I have a question for VR Dev because I've I did read this, but would we consider, I guess, in a core prop, lowering even more, like for a certain part, like a, I guess like a stop loss almost. Like if the market crashes, we're prepared to jump out before we hit a negative balance on what we have. Is that like something we can consider? Like it's not, we shouldn't be timing the market, but I just, thinking about it. Okay, cool.
It says there are stop losses in there. And yeah, we can make further adjustments if they are too big between the SIG and the core, I think. Oh, awesome. Okay, Coder Dan says he just filled out the contact form on Ape Law, and we'll wait for them to get in contact. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we got to move this forward. We can't keep going spinning our wheels like this. So we'll get something moving, and I'll have a consultation, and we'll figure out what their offer is, compare it with DAObox, chat with Letitia about it, and then bring something back to the DAO, hopefully within a timely manner.
Yeah, great job. Like, gotta get something done.
Yeah, I think the voters just need to be, have a clearer picture of what's going on. Like, even if you attend these calls every week, I mean, to me, it's still kind of confusing, and that's why I just kind of wanted to hear the options, and then I feel like everyone is better equipped to make a decision. So we definitely need to talk to them. I keep wanting to say Vanessa. I don't know if that's her name, but yeah,
I think it's Victoria.
Oh, Victoria. Okay, yeah. Yeah. VR dev saying we can also probably put in a flash crash protection just in case on that exact date there's a flash crash. That would be a pity.
Yeah, we're good at timing the market. We know how to find those random black swan events. It's just referring to the bonding curve incident.
So, I mean, I guess for next week I'll probably ask in some of these threads that have been popping up if the authors or people that are sharing their opinions in there would join us on these calls so that they could actually discuss their point of view. I think it's good to have it on a recording as well, just for, like I said before, about people reading through everything. If there's a call that they could just listen to for about a half an hour to an hour and kind of get the main ideas across, then that probably helps everyone, and it probably will help us make better decisions. Plus, like, if you have something that you want to bring to the DAO, like, why wouldn't you be on these calls? That's what they're for. Threads are cool. We need to get the ideas out, and so people can get familiar and stuff. But at the same time, like, we schedule a weekly meeting to discuss those ideas. So please, guys, like, if you're very active in the threads, or you're writing threads, and there's something that you want to communicate, there's a lot of people that can't make these calls also. Yeah, exactly. China, that we have time zone issues and stuff. So just being able to go back and listen to the calls it's pretty useful for a lot of the voters that can't make it. Yeah, I agree, China. Let's see, Ditchy's typing. I'm just gonna post the snapshot from Cryptogotchi one more time. For anybody that may have missed it, you guys check it out.
This will be a good test to see how much voting power is out actually on base right now. Hopefully, I'll do an announcement in the DAO channel next week just to let people know that there is this vote. But there's I would say there's a somewhat of a chance that it might not reach quorum just because people are not used to voting on base yet, or still haven't moved their assets over, which could be problematic.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I checked. I like clicked the button just to see what my voting power was, but I still have like most of my ghost is on. Like I haven't moved it over yet, but all the assets were there, so it was about half. It looked right. That was cool to see. First time I got to test it out.
Yeah. VR Dev, you're the guy. You made the post, bro. You didn't move your VP over first.
It's probably testing quorum. Let's see how fast it'll get up there. But it's pretty good. I mean, it looks good so far. You know, granted, it's been 2 days, and like we haven't had much activity on the snapshot in like the last 2 months, I think. So, yeah, even seeing that, I mean, that means people were checking in. VR Dev dropped the link like in 2 channels, I think. So it's pretty good. Just looking at the chat here. Yep.
Yeah, I think I also have some voting power, some mainly ghosts and stuff that was in LPs or something. I need to move over as well. VR Dev, you kind of, what's that meme from World of Warcraft? It's slipping my mind now. I mean, not to say that, you know, there was plenty of time to move VP over. The Leroy Jenkins, you kind of Leroy Jenkins that a little bit. You didn't even move your voting power.
Yeah. I like it though. You forced our hand though, because I was looking at mine. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's a little low. Yeah, I gotta. It was like a nice reminder to move everything over.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't meet quorum, but I will make an announcement, and hopefully we'll get people to activate some more of their voting power on base.
Awesome.
It costs you a lot. I mean, there's always the way you can just like move it back from Polygon and then use the native bridge over base. It's not. I mean, I guess it depends on how much you're bridging. If you're bridging a couple hundred, then yeah, it's like it'll take $20. If you move more, like a bigger amount, I think it's probably cheaper to do it that way than using something like Jumper, which will take probably more. $1,500 ghosts. That's a lot.
Yeah, I need some recommendations too. I got a nice chunk on Polygon that I need to move over. Relay.link, trust me. I'll check it out.
All right.
Well,
also,
cool.
I realized
Does anybody have
the other day, kind of cool, Match. I haven't really used it before, but there's an exchange called Matcha that does gasless swapping. It's pretty sick. They don't charge you for gas when you do a swap, which is like if you have an account that like doesn't have gas on or something. I didn't realize like Polygon used to have a really nice gasless swapper, but I think they retired it. So Matcha is kind of a cool option for that. If you have tokens that you need to swap, but you don't have any gas on that native chain. It's kind of crazy. Like we're still in 2025 and things are still not gasless all over the place. One of my goals with with like our base mini app. I want to just focus more on making it like a gasless experience for people. There's some areas where we could, I think, have a lot of improvement on. Like for my game, I'm going to try to, I open all these like mini apps on base, and my Coinbase account that it created when I spun up the base wallet, it doesn't have any, it's got USDC, but it doesn't have any ETH. So I opened these, I haven't swapped for ETH yet. I just feel like if you're going to make a base mini app, like you might as well just pay for the users like gas fees, at least to some, like for like basic onboarding or something. I don't know. It could add up, I guess, but it's like an instant turn off if I'm opening a base app and I want to do something, and it's like you don't have enough ETH. Like, man, it's like 0.002 cents of worth of gas to do it.
Yeah.
But it kills the vibe. So just something I've noticed.
Big time.
All right, friends. Well, if there's nothing else this week, I guess we can call it here.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for coming out, everyone. I guess we'll see you next week. Hopefully this week we'll get that. We'll hear back from the people at APLA and hope to schedule a call with them.
Yep.
So we can move things forward. Yeah.
I'll try to get into contact with them.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, friends.
Thanks everybody for coming out. No Future. Think about it, man. And let us know.
We love you, No Future.
Right? Yeah, man.
Thanks, friends.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.